so in this video, we're gonna show you a little trick that we do sometimes when we're packaging up these unikernels into packages. It's not something that I would expect most of you all that you would need to run into that much, but you know, it's something that you can put in your tool belt and. Yeah, anyways, if you don't know, I manually craft a lot of these packages myself, even though I think most of our users probably just use like the import from Docker or whatever. And I only do that because I'm comfortable with it. If you're not comfortable with it, don't do it. But if you are, you know, these are some of the tools of the trade. And I've started fleshing out like a little debugging section on these packages, just to help other people, you know, learn how to package software that they didn't actually write, because there's a big difference between like software that you wrote, you know how it works, and then software that you don't know how it works because you didn't write it, right? And so these are some of my debugging tips and tricks. But this one, and I threw in not DNS, I figured it'd be good to do a video on it. So let me show you the problem real quick. All right, so I just built not DNS. And it got built into source, right? So, you know, we have, if we do source not D, you know, it wants our config file, whatever. But it's running it, right? So I'm going to try to package it. So I'm just going to copy the not D here to work with. And, you know, maybe I start with like ops run not D, right? Well, hold up. Now it says only ELF binaries. Well, what the hell is this? I thought this was an ELF binary. So we'll pull out file. Interesting. It's bash. Okay. So this is something you'll run into not so often with C projects, but you run into a lot with Java projects. The quote executable that you're running is some random bash script, and they do a bunch of like linking magic and environment variable stuffing and, you know, just crap like that. You see this sometimes in Python as well, but you know, in this project it is. So if that's not the project, what you'll end up wanting to do is something like strace or something to figure out what the binary actually is. So that's not the focus of this episode, though. What we're really going to do is show you where it is. So I'm just going to do a quick find for it. Yeah, so it's the source libs is where it was, right? And there it is. Okay, 4 meg. That definitely seems like something. Okay, now this is saying that's ELF. Okay, so now let's copy this guy. Well, let's copy source libs not D out. Okay, so now we got this, right? And let's try to run it again. Now it's going to say, hey, you know, libnotso.15, where is this? What about libdnssec? What about libzscanner? Yada, yada. So what's going on here is that ops tried to load all the binaries, but it's actually not finding all the binaries. Why is that? Well, let's look. So we do LDD, not D, right? Right off the bat, you can kind of see these 3 are missing. But we know they're not missing because we just built the damn thing, right? So if you take a wild guess, you can say, hey, it's probably in the same directory as, what is it? Oh yeah, source.libs. Yeah, so it's right there. I'm just going to copy these out, right? So let's just copy these out real quick so we have something to play with. I kind of like having a clean directory. Now, if you run LDD again, you're going to note that it's still not finding them, even though it's like right here in the directory. So this is the actual tip of the episode that I want to show you. And that is this thing called PatchElf. So what PatchElf does is it rewrites our binary, not D in this case, to update the location of where these libraries are. So all these libraries exist. It's finding them, right? But these, even though it's right there in the directory, it's not finding it because the location's actually not included. So what we're going to do is this PatchElf, and we're going to say, hey, replace needed. Whenever you see this library location, we're just going to set it to this path. So basically the current path. Now you could set this to like userlib or whatever, and then throw that library into userlib. That's totally a valid thing to do. But if we do this, And now we can do LDD again and say, now it's there, right? And so you can do the exact same thing. If we do like lib, what's this other one? DNSSEC. And then lib DNSSEC, so 9. And then zscanner, we'll do the same thing here. Right? All right, so now when we do this, now they're all there, right? And now this thing should basically, at least get us to the config, which it does. This trick, if you've ever used Ops Desktop on Mac OS, you might be wondering how we do some of the things that we do. Because we pre-sign QEMU and do all this sort of stuff. We're using a similar trick on Mac OS where we rewrite a bunch of libraries and basically update their location. But hopefully this sort of tool that you can pull out whenever you need to helps you out, and it'll get you around these little linking problems that you might run into in the future. All right, till next time.